Adam Simpson is in the studio, just coming off a stint with Waitley. It was a professional
It
outfit.
was. It was a little bit different.
Yeah, well,
All right.
This mob.
flip that around.
We'll get there. Don't worry about that. We're just trying to extract your personality.
He's good. He's a good man.
He's a very good man.
Knows what he's doing.
He certainly does, and you can hear him while we're on air.
Another shot across the bow. What?
It wasn't.
It was just... Mate,
I'm the rookie here.
We're not done enough. We're not done enough to
I'm
me.
looking for mentors.
All right. Hey,
And
don't look at
you're
you.
you're in the mix.
I won't look at you. Hey, can I ask you, before we get into footy talk, great man's 60th birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Thank
mate.
you, thank you.
Got any fond memories of him as a journalist while you were playing? Did he slaughter you at any stage? Did you think, who is that tall streak that I want to knock out over there?
One of the all-time great fence sitters is my. That's what springs to me.
Did you feel while you were coaching the Eagles that you had a number one pom-pom waver in the media?
No.
Did you feel that? Because I do.
No. Look, he knows how to grease the wheel. Put it that way.
Thank you. Hey, did you watch last night?
I did.
Yeah. What did you make of it? It's to be expected, I'd imagine, with the lineups that they both put out there. But that's a fairly strong, hefty 83
It was, yes and no. I mean, the first quarter, you thought, oh, here we go. You know, it's going to be tough. You got the oldest list in the comp playing the youngest. They look healthy, Collingwood, don't they? They fell away last year with their transition, you know, and it was really what they won the flag off the back of pressure, like a really good pressure side and back half transition. So last night we saw that back again. So it's going to be interesting because you can't just repeat the game plan from 2 years ago. You've got to change a few things, but that looked with some personnel changes, that looked healthy. So it was probably more about Collingwood than Richmond last night, I would have thought.
Well, Richmond, I reckon, at the end of the first quarter, 10 minutes to go in that first quarter, they got themselves back into the game. They kicked poorly, but and then I reckon the first 10 minutes of the second, they were in it as well, and they got blown out. But they had passages where they moved it pretty well, and I'm still a little nervous about Collingwood as far as if they turn the footy over, they get scored on very easily.
If you go shootout with Collingwood, you're gonna struggle. So there's ways to play the Pies which might help take away their strengths. But the Richmond side of things, I mean, when you're a rebuild and your first pre-season game that's, you know, of significance and you lose by 80 points, what do you do today when you review the players? And I would have thought there's some little wins they can take out of last night with 53 inside 50s, for example, is a win. So you got some supply. You know, the dominance for 10 or 15 minutes there where they actually held field position, that's a tick. Some of their pressure around the ball was really good. Some of the younger players doing some special things. So I think Ooze will take the positives out of last night. Won't worry about the scoreboard. Let's look at these little things that might not mean wins, but that might add to winning a quarter or winning a half, winning a game down the track.
Geez, they need Tom Lynch. The little men were flying down there in their forward 50. The little blokes were flying for everything, but geez, they need Tom Lynch. Who knows what they're going to get with Noah Bolter, with obviously the issues he's got to face. But they need
going through it.
They need big men. Goss, they need a couple of big men.
I think we're going to see I think we had this conversation yesterday. I don't know what you think about this. I think, again, it was a very small sample size, but what we saw with the Indigenous All-Stars, where they didn't have a key forward, they were just it's like the Eagles of the 90s. They're all 6-foot midfielders, 6-footers, and they played around the ground because they didn't have a huge side either. Smith, not a huge man by any stretch of the imagination. They had Paul Harding in the ruck, and the rest of them were pretty small up forward. I just got a feeling that we're going to see less of the big man. The 80-goal full forward is done for me. I think we're going to see a lot of spread.
I'm the other way.
Are you?
Yeah, because I know we games at 1, Zimo.
What are your thoughts on how struck...
Talent will shine. Like if you're
doesn't matter what size you are.
Yeah, if you're 6'6" and you're Darcy, you're gonna take some grabs down the track. You know, there's I still think there's room for it, but you know, the ball hits the deck. The Indigenous All-Stars game is a little bit different than Richmond's forward line last night in terms of
talent.
Talent's still important and experience. For Richmond's talent and the experienced players, they need them just to be there to help support the younger players. We went through this, not having the older players to support the younger players. You get really exposed. The smaller forward line, that's interesting. It doesn't tweak a lot every year, scoring. So I suspect you won't see a massive change in both, but it's creeping towards smaller, more dynamic forward lines, but you can't take away the talent.
Yeah, that's right.
Scotty, you can't
Big
take away
lush.
the big talent.
That's right.
Will Schofield said something on his Backchat podcast the other day that sort of like, I don't know if it was a drive-by for you, but I think you're sort of basically saying what he has noticed in the very small sample size, again, of pre-season, is West Coast determined to move the ball really quickly.
Yep.
And he said it looks like Minnie has been teaching them how to move the ball quickly. You mentioned this on here, was it the Monday or the previous Monday, that everyone wants to do that, move the ball quickly, but some players are set in their ways or have a different style. Can you explain how you teach someone to move the ball quickly?
Yeah, I did hear that comment, and I think he's right. I mean, what we tried to do, we had success playing a certain way, so control over chaos really, and we would use our skill and make the ground big and find moments to go quick, but also find moments to control as well. So you go through that as a coach, and then you need to reinvent yourself a little bit, and your style in the game moves on, and you get worked out. Just like teams are going to work out Collingwood style and Brisbane style, and things will change. So 3.5, 4 years ago, we said, look, we need to change, and let's get a bit quicker. And we got a few assistant coaches who come from other clubs to try and work through that. It's just hard to change some of the leading senior players who have played a certain way for 10 years to try and get them to embrace the chaos a bit more. That was a challenge. Now you get Minnie coming in. Hey, listen, I've been part of 3 premierships at this. I know how to do it. Jump on board, follow the leader. I think that's an easier sell, and I think there'd be more buy-in on that type of style. So I think he's right, and I think what Scotty said's right. The system and the method to do it should be pretty clear with Minnie.
So do you think that we saw what we saw with Hawthorn last year, that clubs are going to be jumping all over their style, for the want of a better word, hockball, whatever that means? But I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. But anyway, that's what they say. But do you think clubs are going to be able to work out Hawthorn? Have they shown their hand early under Sam Mitchell?
No, I said this the other day. I think they started by being really attacking back half. Get the ball, switch, go, and whatever happens, happens. And then last year, I thought they put a bit more work into the opposition, take away a couple of strengths, and still play their way. And this year, I think more teams will put more work into what they're doing. So how you stop what Hawthorn are doing, rather than, hey, we're playing Hawthorn, let's just go play our way, we should be fine, to, hey, this is a serious team. We need to take away these 3 strengths, move the ball this way, but still keep our identity while we play them.
I've got them, and Goss and I did our season predictions in October.
Yes.
And we just wanted to get ahead of everyone, all right? But we stayed with one.
It was our last show last year. We did our season predictions.
We were bored.
I like it. We've done around 6.
We're limping to the line.
We have.
But I've got them as a slider purely based on the fact that they are a young side. I know bringing in TB and Battle helps.
Yeah.
But you know how hard it is for these young guys to maintain that sort of rage and maintain that mental edge, which they had on everyone last year, towards the back half of the season. Everyone else has got them top 4. I'm thinking I'm going to stick to my guns.
Where have you got them?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have them out. Wow.
No, you've got them out of the 8.
Yeah, I've got them as a slider.
Health's important. So they look healthy. The other piece that's interesting...
Was that aimed at me? He aimed that at me?
No, mate.
Health's important.
You look good. Black T-shirt.
Yeah.
I've got one
I've got 15 of them.
What's interesting with Hawthorn is they all... last year they hit a sweet spot, and I think every team that has success hits this space where the coaches get out the way, the players take over, suddenly 2 wins turns into 5 or 6 wins in a row, and you just hit that rhythm. Collingwood lived off that for a couple of years. Brisbane did, and Hawthorn definitely did last year. So can they say they win the first 2 or 3, I think you'll see them explode. But if they lose the first 2 or 3, what's interesting for Sam going forward is can he find that rhythm again? Because as a coach, that's your job. But to do it more than once, to back it up every year, that's going to be Hawthorn's challenge.
Ross Lyon spoke on Channel 7 Melbourne with Rebecca Madden last night. This is about senior coaches being involved with trades and recruiting. Have a listen to Ross.
How involved are you in recruiting these players?
Well, I think every senior coach, I remember Chris Scott and a few of the Geelong legends strutted into town to get Dangerfield, didn't they? And there's, Sam Mitchell was all over Battle, particularly in season. I think that's what's changed. Everyone used to be a bit more respectful, but I think the gloves are off. And I think we'll get to the point where players make decisions like NRL. Look, I'm in for the year, but I've made a decision. That's where I'm going next year. It's quite a mature approach, but I don't think we're far off getting to that.
Do you agree with that? We're players. So let's give it a case in point that Oscar Allen's name's been mentioned, linked to Brisbane. $2 million offer. He's captain for Footy Club. Chad Warner's Sydney, wants to come back to WA. Are we going to be better off where they go, yep, at the end of the year I'm leaving?
It's not far off, is it? I mean, what you're hearing with Pickett, for example, is this close to saying it, isn't he? But, yeah, in terms of the recruiting piece, what I suppose Mitch is, it's a bit more, it's got out a bit more because it happens all the time. I would have met 50 players in 10 years, minimum.
In season?
Yeah, during the bye or when they play over here.
Under the cosh?
Sneak into the garage, garage will be open to come in, park there and go get some muffins from the IGA and, it didn't work too well. I don't think we got anyone.
So how many did you bring in? You saw 50. You worked on your sales pitch.
I think my first one was Yowie, actually. We tried to get him from Brisbane. So, I won't go through every player that we met, but that definitely happens. I think that it's gone up another level, though. The sell is different now than what it was, a coffee with the coach and the GM, and here's the team, and you've got you here. And I think that's old school. I think there's so many different ways to attract talent.
Don't want to dig up old wounds, but so when Tom Barras said, I'm a one club player and they're going to have to pull the rug from underneath me.
Looked him in the eyes, he did, Simone.
He did. And
I'm not going anywhere. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he's going.
Not long after he's gone, was the timing of that all a bit odd?
Yeah.
We don't need to dig down.
No,
too
he's
far.
fine. I think players who have made their mind up to leave and then do a press conference and get up, are you staying? What do you say?
Well, we're one step away, aren't we, from saying, yes, my intention is to leave.
Yeah, well, it's don't put yourself in that position is probably one of the things you'd recommend. I don't want to do any press conferences. Just let's get me away from it. But these guys tend to go on radio and declare and then put themselves in positions where it's reasonably awkward. So, yeah, I'm not sure if they'll get to the stage where just announce it and it's going to happen whilst the season's still going. The other thing too is if you're in contention and suddenly that is declared. NRL they do it, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, the maturity piece is what Ross spoke about. Maybe we'll get to that. Maybe we won't.
Thanks for dropping by.
No worries.
Just send your invoice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
See what happens there. I had another question and he waved me off.
All right. Short, sharp.
How do West... Oh, it's probably not going to be short, sharp. West Coast, Harley Reid, you're approaching players from opposition. He's going to be spoken to by everyone. How do you handle that?
Well, all I did is give him love. Just,
leave it alone.
Support him.
Him.
Mate, he'll do what he needs to do. Hopefully he's got good people around him to make good decisions and just give him some love.
Thanks for coming in.